Hello, William Mean here, 1799. Glad you could come around. If you like this video, please share, subscribe, hit the little button down there, and then let's talk about something real quick. Here in New Jersey, New York, and some parts of Philadelphia, they're hearing about these drones. There's 50 drones, there's 20 drones, whatever it may be. And nobody can seem to really figure out what they are. Well, let's stop and think logically a little bit. If they cannot find a frequency or a radio signal, then it must be manned. So in other words, what I'm saying here, if this thing is as big as I would say in a van or an SUV or whatever it may be, it's most likely it's manned. So in other words, somebody had built one or two, and I think that's all there is one or two. I don't think there's 50 or 60 of them, everybody says they are. And another thing that comes down to is when something gets close to it, it shuts its lights off and maneuvers away from it, it's probably manned. And all the time I've been in aviation myself, nothing is impossible, period. So I wouldn't be surprised if these are somebody's home-built aircraft that they're testing, maybe put on market or where it may be. Because something that large, of that size, can probably hold a human being and can be flown manually. So I don't think there's anything other than maybe one or two, and the speed they can move is pretty reasonable. Now, we all know that there's small jet aircraft out there that are small and quick and lightweight. There's also Pitt Special aircraft, there's also Piper Cubs. These are aircraft that are all light, small. And then you got your home builts, like your ultralights and things of that nature. So are they capable of carrying man? They sound like Harley Davidsons, whatever you want to call these things. But I wouldn't be surprised if these are manned aircraft. I really wouldn't be surprised. So I don't think there's any terrorist plot. I don't think, in my mind, I don't believe there's really any potential threat other than they're flying at areas they shouldn't be. And they're flying at night, so it'd be a little hard to locate them. But they got their lights on so that nobody runs into them. So why would, if someone were spying on somebody, why would they have lights on them? It wouldn't make sense, now would it? But if they are spying aircraft, and which I doubt they are, I don't think that it would make much sense to do just the Northeast and just New Jersey, because you have a whole Northeast, you have other military operations, you have other military sites, you have other infrastructure sites that are vital to communities and so forth, power grids, gas lines, and things of that sort. So to me, it doesn't make sense. I think these are just 2 or 3 drones that were built, and you've got some pilots that are testing these things to see what they can actually do, how long they can stay in the air, how far they can travel, things of that nature. Would not surprise me. And they probably have some area where they go off coast, fly around, and they come back in under the radar, most likely, and nobody knows they're there. Now, if there's no identifier on there, so you're not going to identify the aircraft what it is. So yeah, then there's no signal on it. Has to have some type of frequency to identify the aircraft, know where the aircraft is, whole 9 yards. That's why I believe these are home-built aircraft and somebody's just testing the hell out of them. I do not believe they're a threat. I do not believe that they're Iranian or Russian or anything of that sort, because if they are, they're here in the United States. Now, that means people are not really locating them. And you're going to be hard to find because there's no frequency to follow. So, I don't think nothing's impossible. Now, I'm going to go back a little ways. The time of John McCain was running for president of the United States, and Sarah Palin was governor of Alaska. And I remember a statement, so I had to play that on my computer about a day ago, when she mentioned that there was a Russian military base off the coast of Alaska. Everybody laughed at her. They thought she was some nutball. Well, At the election, a year later, I think it was 2 years later, they found that yes, there is an actual Russian military base out the coast. So, is anything impossible? No. Is everything probable? Oh yeah. But I think people need to look at the logic part before they start panicking over the who knows what we can consider it to be. Is it a potential threat? In some ways, yeah, because it's running into airspace it shouldn't be. Is it a threat to society? I think it's just copying or just looking at the infrastructure, if it is. Are they just somebody's toys they built and they're testing them for future use to sell to the market? That's probably what they're looking at. So, and when they see another aircraft comes by them, they quickly shut their lights up and maneuver away from it, so they won't. Nobody knows they're there. That seems to be what it is. So I would definitely not panic, and I don't think there's 50 or 60 of them. I think there's just maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 that were built. And they're just chasing the hell out of them, and they're finding their figures, they're making their findings when they come together the next day or that evening, who knows what. So, until then, like I said, I'm surprised the government, well, I'm not, Murphy is a joke anyway, so I have no respect for the guy. In the aviation world, nothing is impossible. Yeah, nothing is impossible. So I would definitely just, people relax, put some logic to it, and just kind of go from there. If you're not finding a frequency of it, it's not remote. It's manned. Then that's what you need to go by. And everything has a frequency. And everything is picked up. If it's a frequency or a radio, whatever, it gets picked up. It's just like an RC aircraft, these real huge ones, the size of your car out there. It has a frequency, so it can be picked up. An aircraft flying to international areas has a frequency, so it can identify the aircraft, where it is, or where it comes from. There it is. So, I don't know how else more I can explain it, but I don't think it's a big threat. I really don't. Yeah, I'm just surprised that nobody's really putting logic to the thing and trying to figure out, okay, do we shoot it down? Nah, I wouldn't. Is there a way to capture it? Possibility. But if you have all the infrared equipment we have out here, which I'm surprised that we're not using that in the military, and I'm surprised that a lot of things the military or the government agency is not utilizing, which is kind of weird. They would get an idea of what it is and why it's been flying as long as November. So I believe they're just something that are being tested. They're built. See, what they're going to be used for. And if there is no frequency that law enforcement and government says, that somebody else is testing it of the government. And then that's not telling anybody. So, there are certain things that you can look at, but just remember in mind, nothing is impossible. You just have to sit back and think about it for a minute. Are they manned aircraft and somebody's just testing these toys out? Alright, if there's no frequency that nobody can detect, then it's got to be a manned aircraft. Now, if there's still no man on it, then it's the government testing an aircraft that they're not telling you. That's why there's no frequency. You're not going to know that frequency. They're going to keep it hidden themselves. So, like I said, everything is kind of like, whatever it may be, but I think there's somebody's testing some toys out that they're built, and they're just to see what they can do with them. Till then, keep your friends and family close, and keep an eye on your surroundings, definitely. Report anything that's unusual. And don't prepare to defend yourself, and get the proper training. Till then, you take care.